Ryan, what factors would have led to this announcement?
Well, good evening, Pearson. According to Dr. Greenidge, the rebound has been led mainly by the resurgent tourism sector, as the island's economy grew by 6.4% for the first quarter of this year. In delivering the bank's first quarter review this morning, his first as governor, he indicated that the figure forms part of 8 consecutive quarters of economic growth.
Indeed, if we were to look at the quarterly numbers in terms of the level of economic output, both real and nominal, you will see that for March 2023, and we compare here 2023 with 2029, which is the year before COVID really began. In terms of real GDP, real economic output, which is the value, not just the volume of goods and services produced, we are virtually on par. If you consider the inflationary effects and price effects and look at the value of those goods and services produced, we're at $3.3 billion for the quarter versus $2.7 billion for the first quarter of 2019. So indeed, the growth has strengthened, the economy has recovered.
Now, Dr. Greenidge adds that the sustained growth in the economy has positively impacted the labor market. He says unemployment has plummeted from the 17% experienced at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, now down to 7.2%.
That 7.2 unemployment rate is the lowest we've had in history on record. Well, the lowest back to 2007, third quarter. That is a significant recovery in unemployment, which indicates that the labor market is quite buoyant at the moment. Indeed, if you look at another indicator, which is how long it takes a person to find a job. At the height of the COVID period, it took most of persons took between 3 months and a year. If I look at the number, over 8,000 people would take almost a year to find a job, and even some took more than a year. If you compare it to where we are now, most jobs are found within less than 3 months.
Pearson?
Well, Ryan, that was what was happening at the macro or country level. But did the governor also talk about how things are shaping up on the ground for the ordinary householder, especially those who have concerns about inflation?
Well, Pearson, Dr. Greenidge did actually talk about inflation. Well, he noted that the rate of inflation has been slowing in recent months. Now, he was quick to make the point that it does not mean that prices are dropping. What it really means is that the speed at which the prices of goods and services get higher is now significantly slower, which essentially delays the impact on the average consumer. The governor also touched on the issue of debt at the household level, specifically as it relates to non-performing loans reported by commercial banks, credit unions, and other financial institutions. He says there has been a noticeable reduction in non-performing loans.
Because the economy has picked up, you expect loan delinquency, which picked up during the pandemic period, will have fallen off. And you can see that fall off here in all cases. And that represented largely households paying down debt, and this is debt in arrears. This is not new debt. This will be household paying off their mortgage and credit card bills, and the hospitality sector, which was impacted during the COVID period, repaying debt that have became delinquent, and the real estate sector. And this argues well for the entire financial system.
Now, that figure of 6.4% for the first quarter of this year is certainly encouraging, but as the governor has said about whether similar growth can be achieved for the remainder of this year. And on that note, well, Pearson, he is saying notwithstanding downside risks, which basically can include unforeseen factors on the international scene over which we have no control, like an escalation of the war in Ukraine or increases in oil prices, but notwithstanding any significant changes in those things, Dr. Greenidge believes the economic growth achieved so far is sustainable.
We expect the economy to growth to continue through the rest of the year and converge somewhere in the region of 4.5%. Now, we usually, as economists, like to be very cautious, and we will give you a range between 4 and 5, because there are many factors that impact this.
So, Pearson, as I said before, in a nutshell, as ordinary Barbadians, we will definitely have to be keeping an eye on the international scene as we continue to monitor the growth of the economy. The governor's next review of the economy will be at the half-year mark in June. But for now, it's back over to you.
Ryan, thank you so much.